Museum of Modern Art in New York, standing in front of Salvador Dali's small canvas, The Persistence of Memory.
Both this painting as well as Van Gogh's Starry Night seem to be the stars of MoMA.
This painting was given to the museum in 1934, just 3 years after it was painted by an anonymous donor.
Although we do know this work was shown at the Julian Levy Gallery in 1932.
Dali, the Spanish artist, had just come to Paris and joined the Surrealist group.
Mainly, he's remembered as the first person to really do dreamscapes to this scale.
It is much smaller than expected.
He wants to give us such a powerful impact with such a miniature-sized work.
Certainly, while this painting is only 9 inches by about 1 foot made of oil on canvas.
There is a tradition of artists challenging social themes that goes as far back as the Renaissance.
Just like other surrealist artists of his time, Dali sends a message behind his piece. The message would be that time, and by extension clocks, almost doesn't function properly.
The meaning of the surrealist painting was to suggest and portray the subconscious. Dali examines the subconscious world and attempts to delve into the depths of human psychology.
Clocks can be portrayed as rulers for time, but according to Dali, they do not work.
Time is something that rules us and is so associated to the industrial culture that we live in.
However, it looks here the clocks respond to the environment.
Since time is something that is usually so regulated, the idea of it reacting to an environment gathers our attention and interest.
I agree. The clocks in the painting are distorted and melting, which seem to symbolize the erratic passage of time that we experience while dreaming.
These melting clocks and the desert-like environment around them can be compared to melting cheese. The desert-like surroundings give off a hot, dry connotation, which is exactly where we would see the cheese melt.
Yes, it has been said that the limp clocks are the Cambrai of time.
Cambrai is a type of moist, soft, creamy cheese similar to brie.
Yes, and we see he appears to put an attack on the rational, which totally challenges traditional standards. He mastered what he had called the usual paralyzing tricks of eye-fooling.
Dali himself called it the most imperialist fury of precision in regards to the Surrealism movement.
Although he does not present this painting rebutting reality, Dali still includes some reality within the piece. His home of Catalonia, Spain, is featured in the background of the painting.
These distant golden cliffs represent the coast of Dali's Catalonia, and coasts, more specifically the rocks or cliffs, are timeless. Geology has been there for as long as we can remember.
He creates a work that is dreamlike, that seems timeless, and the melting clocks are a symbol of that, of how time slips away while we are dreaming.
Yes, and this is seen in how Dali alters and manipulates concrete objects in his work. The limp watch is compared to overripe cheese, which would melt just like the clocks.
The lack of activity and sense of quietness in this painting reinforces the escape of reality and the need to explore what lies beneath the surface, which is what Dali was trying to show us as viewers to do.
The water in the background has no waves or ripples. It is an entirely quiet environment.
Literally, time is melting.
However, it's a naturalistic rendering of an environment that does not make any sense.
It's the interaction of a naturalistic viewing of unnatural subjects that creates the intrigue within this piece.
However, we do see life in this work, seen in the ants, which represent decay, particularly when they attack a gold watch and become grotesquely organic.
There is a monstrous, fleshy creature draped across the center of the painting, which is an approximation of Dali's own face and profile. His eyelashes are insect-like, while his oozing tongue is similar to a fat snail.
Dali's mental imbalance was a cause of the intensity and applicability that causes deep reflection in the piece.
This intensity and applicability leads us to a world deflated under pressure of the contemporary world.
You can see that message in how time seems to be responding to the environment, not the other way around. The heat of the silent desert has become to melt away the clocks.
Dali painted mainly in these horizontal bends, which span the entire width of the canvas.
Using this method, he was able to create a unified composition and then add in his details.
The forms themselves don't sit in a liminal space, but instead act as if we've been incorporated into their space.
Another way this goal is accomplished is, again, through just how small the canvas actually is. Since you need to be much closer to the small canvas to observe all the details, you become incorporated into its world.
When you walk into this painting visually, you enter the deep and lonely space that has been so carefully created.
This fully allows the viewer to escape reality and explore what lies beneath the surface of the piece.
Yes, and that is exactly what this whole surrealist movement and the time period were about. It wanted you to essentially dig beneath the surface and really explore the unconscious mind.
Other pieces of surrealist art delve into these impossible scenarios as well, such as the two Fridas and Object.
However, unlike other artists of his time, Dali had more experimental techniques with how he painted. In his piece, he combined materials and methods in a manner unique to only him.
It's an eccentric and unique genre, and Dali's ability to play with the materials and techniques only helped his overall style.
There is also this kind of fun of, what am I looking at? Really playing with the reality present.
Yes, and this work is an excellent example of a surrealist painting.
The idea of being able to measure something gives us comfort in the form that we feel we can control it in some shape or form.
This is the moment when you have lost that control. Time isn't a measurement, but it returns to the elements.
Exactly. This frame, where our ideas of objectivity are being blown away, creates the sense of wonder.